Compa.
There it
There
goes.
we go.
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Let me see
Yes,
if I
sir.
can.
How's everything?
Good, good. And you?
Good, good. Just here at the house, getting ready
Getting ready for what?
to get in bed in a little bit. We got a early training tomorrow. We do our training usually in the mornings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good. For if just let everybody. I want everybody to know who is Michoacano. You coming up for your next fight coming up August 12th, right? I believe.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. It's a fight here in Houston. Actually, a local fight. We were trying to get a big fight. We were trying to get the rematch with Abner Mares, but I don't know. I don't know what he has planned or what
Mhm.
his options are. But I'm just trying to stay busy. I turn 31 next week, so at this stage of my career, I want to just stay busy. So I asked PBC and I asked my manager if I could just get a stay busy fight here in Houston. So they approved it. So I was like, why not? Just an 8 rounder or something and get me back in. Which these are the most dangerous fights because obviously the guy you're fighting has absolutely nothing to lose.
Really. So you were gonna fight with Abner Mares. That's what you're telling me, right?
Well, that's what we were planning for. We kept getting feedback that we're waiting on him, see what he was trying to do. And there's a couple of times they're like, okay, we're just working on a few things, working on numbers, where the fight will be, and then at the end it all just went kind of blank, and they said, yeah, we don't know what Mars is doing. I'm sure he's comfortable, man. He's comfortable in that
Yeah.
commentary chair.
Yeah, I mean I think that would be hella good if you did a rematch with Mares. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I want. Like I said, I want the big fights, but I mean, can't force nobody to get in the ring with you. And like I said, at this point in my career, I'm getting up there in age also, so I just want to stay busy, stay sharp. I don't want to be out of the ring for over a year. So I told him, like I said, let me get a fight here in Houston so that my hometown people can see me in action,
Yeah.
and hopefully by the end of the year, I'll have a big fight.
Okay. So for everybody out there to know, you're 25-4 in one with 12 KOs, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So um, that'd be good, man. I would really. So who are you fighting now? Who are you fighting? Oh yeah.
We're sorting out a couple of opponents. We have a couple of names. Like I said, we want to make the right choice. Obviously, because these fights are dangerous. Like I said, I mean, I could not afford a loss. So we want to make the correct choice. There's a few names that have been brought to us, but we're trying to sort out the best name possible. And obviously, because we want to give the fans here in Houston a good action fight. So hopefully by this week, we should have that sorted out.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be hella good, man. So who's on the undercards?
There's a couple of friends here from. That's why it's also exciting, man. There's a couple of guys here from my hometown that train at the same gym I train. Eduardo Garcia, he's an undefeated guy. He fights at 140. And then there's Ray Talib. He's from here too. I think he's a super middleweight. He's like 8-0. So all those guys, man, they're gonna be on the card, and I'm sure they're excited to be. They always kind of bullshit with me how I've been on the big stage and how I'm gonna fight there, but I'm like, man, I'm here to fight, so I just want to fight, and it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna give them a good opportunity to be like on a big card as well, because I'm planning to sell this arena out and hopefully get a big crowd in there.
Yeah. Um. So how's your training camp going? Is it?
It's good. I'm trying to stay motivated, like I said, because it not being a televised fight, it not being on the big card, you may get like comfortable,
Mhm.
but that's the thing I'm trying to, fully avoid. I'm not trying to get comfortable. I'm trying to take it like like I said, it's a very, very important fight because I cannot afford a loss. So I'm trying to take it as the most important fight in my career. And obviously, like I said, man, these guys are the most dangerous guys, the ones that don't have nothing to lose because they're like, hey, we're here to just collect a paycheck. But if we can get the win, next fight we'll
Yeah.
get a big check. So you got to watch out for these guys. Obviously, we're trying to prepare, at the maximum, level. Also, man, here in Houston, it's super super hot right now.
Yeah.
So it's all I'm gonna put the work in. Trust me, and it's gonna reflect on that Saturday night.
Yeah. So that really helps you a lot too with all that sweating going on. With all, I mean, it's hot here. I'm in Vegas. You know, I'm in Vegas, but
Yeah,
you know how it's hot.
yeah. Now,
It gets.
well, it's different type of heat, man. Over here's a lot of humidity. We sweat a lot. I'm talking about we sweat, drench it like it's like they throw a bucket of water on our head. And so, and the thing about it over here is, man, it's like it sucks you up. Like there's a certain you get to a certain point where you can't breathe,
Yeah.
man. So it's really really hard. But like I said, I mean, it's part of the game. Once we get to the fight night, then it's easy because you fight in the AC, so it all pays off.
Is in the where you're fighting at? Is it going to be outside, inside, or?
Inside, it's a new arena actually. I've never even heard of it. I heard it's a arena that they brought here to Houston. There's a couple of them in I believe Canada, but this is a new one here in Houston. It's a nice venue. I saw a couple of pictures of it. So like I said, I want to obviously try to do my best to sell it out and get a good crowd in there. And that in order to do that, I also got to give a good fight to the crowd.
Does it because I mean I know you fought outside before. What's the difference? Does it affect you in any way?
No, man. I'm looking back at my boxing career. I have never fought outside.
Really?
A couple of times there was talks of us fighting out there in Cali. What's that outside venue? I think it's the Home Depot, or I'm not sure which one it is. But at the time, I remember they told us, hey, the fight might be in February. It's gonna be outside, so it's gonna be cold. It's not gonna be hot. So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what will be worse though, because when it's cold too, you have a harder time warming up. You have a harder time adjusting. Your body takes longer to adjust. So
Yeah.
I think both are hard. But not right now. I never fought outside.
Yeah. Because I mean I seen I seen different fighters that have fought outside and they say it's a little bit different when it comes to outside and when it's inside. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I bet. I bet. Like I said, I seen some of the outside venues, man, and even the sun. I seen the sun reflect on their face and stuff, and I'm sure that got to be play a role into it, or a bit distracting, I would say. But like I said, I haven't had the chance to fight outside. I would love to. I know all those venues outside are mostly in California, so I mean, I would love to fight outside. I mean, even like I said, we were talking about rematch in Mades,
Hmm.
and hey, like because we were talking like, oh, where would the fight take place? I like shit. I'll fight him in Cali again. I don't care. There's a fight I really wanted because obviously it was a draw, so you kind of want to set the score clear. I want to be like, hey, if he beats me, let it be clear, let it be known. But like I said, he has other plans. I don't know. I'm sure he wants a big fight or a bigger fight. I would say a bigger name like a Leo Santa Cruz or somebody like that. But I'm like, how could you get a name like that if you haven't really, beat me? Yeah. So I mean,
What? How long has it been? I mean, I know I interviewed you before or after when you fought Mares, and I remember it's been what?
it was September, so we're coming up on about a year. We're coming up in about a year, and like I said, I mean, at this point, I mean, even him, he's like I said, I don't know what he's doing. Even him, he's what 36, 37. I'm sure he don't want to be inactive for that long, and especially me, I don't. Might just like I said, he might just retire. Who knows? But he should just come out and say clearly, hey, I'm gonna retire. But I don't think he deserves a bigger fight. After that draw, I think we both have to settle the score and even it out.
Do you think that fight with Mares was it? You think it was close, a closer fight, or you think you had the
No, it was a close fight. I mean, uh, there was a couple of early rounds that he really, buzzed me, and but I thought in the later rounds, I completely took over. Obviously, I thought I won, obviously by a round or two, but and he thinks the same, so I'm like, why not? Let's do it again and settle the score.
exactly?
But obviously, I think the word robbery gets thrown out there a lot in boxing. I don't think I was robbed. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm like, hey, we're in his hometown. Okay, the draw is fair. Let's do it again. Or kind of just let us know if you're not gonna do it. Let us know. But he kind of kept us there, holding us out for a little bit. Like, yeah, it's gonna happen. Yeah, it's gonna happen, and then he didn't say nothing.
So for this fight, when it comes to your sparring, you have any sparring partners that are
Well, for now we've had a couple of sparring partners that
Mhm.
that are at the gym. You know, the normal guys I usually spar. Once we get a opponent sorted out, you know, we'll kind of start, you know, trying to figure out somebody with the same style as of that. You know, but for now, have the same guys, tough guys at the gym that are always trying to spar. We train at Main Street here in Houston. And trust me, when I say we have some of the best sparring going on in that gym, there's some of the best sparring in all over the U.S. Like everybody comes to that gym just to spar. The gym is super packed in the morning, so I'm always gonna
Yeah.
have, you know, a lot of work. Guys from San Antonio, Dallas, they all come down to spar with us here there in downtown. So there's no lack of sparring there.
Yeah. So so who do you have a promoter for this one, or is it?
We're working with a local promoter. It's called Next Fight Up Promotions. It's a friend of ours actually.
Mhm.
You know, Forrest Washington. He's one of our friends, and he, you know, like I said, I came up with the idea because I didn't want to be out of the ring for over a year, and you know, he had the card already going. So when we asked him, like, hey, can we get on the card? He immediately accepted. You know,
Yeah.
he said, of course, you know, we want Miguel on the card. That'll be a big draw, you know, big excitement for the people. So he accepted right away, and that's who we work for. Well, first we wanted to get approval from my big promoter from PBC and my manager Luis the Cuba Jr. Once they accepted, then it all went down smooth because he agreed to have us on his card.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, PVC. I mean, that's pretty. That's who you went under when you fought with Mares, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, that's been my promoter for the last years. You know, that's who I've been fighting under for the last couple of years. And like I said, I know sometimes because we've had asked before if we could do stuff like that, and a couple of times they said no because they had other plans for us. And obviously, like I said, they don't want to risk us taking a loss because then that would really devaluate our name. But we know what we're going up against. We know it's going to be a tough fight, and you know we're ready to assume all the challenge that's going to come with it because I mean there's no easy opponent, especially not at the level that I'm fighting at. You know, there's no easy fights. You know, all the guys know, you know, I'm a seasoned veteran now. You know, I
Yeah.
have 30 pro fights, so they know they're coming into fight, so they're going to come very well prepared.
Yeah. And then I seen a video of you and your son were training in the gym. He's doing the same thing you are, sit ups and everything. I
Yeah.
thought it was cool.
That's my oldest son. I don't really take him to the gym a lot, and well, with him having school and all that, and but the times I do go, man, they like to just be around it, and I try to keep them away from the sport as much as possible. Not because it's a bad sport, but I just wouldn't want them to pick up on it. Obviously, the day that they decide, hey, Dad, I want to be a boxer, then of
Yeah.
course, you know, I'm gonna support them away. But if it was up to me, I would tell them no.
Yeah. So other than that, do you have um, when you do the walkout, are you gonna have any music? Are you gonna have any music, special music out there? Banda, grupo?
You know, that's what actually what I want. Like I said, I want it to be a big showing out, even though I still want to, you know, stay responsible, stay focused on the fight. As what always been one of my dreams to have like a banda or a grupo walk me out. So, you know, I've talked to a couple of friends that I have here in Houston, and we're working on that. You know, like I want the group playing in the back and stuff. We're gonna work on that. Obviously, like I said, I want to stay concentrated on the fight, but
Yeah.
you know that's what I'm planning for, to have a big, you know, walkout and a nice walkout, and like, hey, a big show out for my people here in Houston. Hopefully we could get that sorted out.
So who's your best grupo? If you would have a choice, who would you pick?
Oh, if I had like a big choice that I could pick anybody, I don't know, man. I would probably pick a banda, or you know, like a good singer, probably somebody like Eden Munoz or someone like that
Yeah.
to walk me out, or Alfredo Olivas or something like that
That'd be
to
cool.
walk me out. Obviously, having big names there, you know, Boss de Mato or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. I wanted to ask you. So, what about I also, so you know what? Before I forget, I also saw that you ride horses. A lot of
Yeah. Yeah. It's always been one of my hobbies to do since I was a kid. I always kind of, well, you know, growing up in Mexico, you know, you always have that tradition. They used to use horses though, not for luxury. They used to use them for work.
necesidad. Yeah.
Yeah, to, you know, to go para el campo y todo eso. So I always liked it. Obviously, I never got to work with the horses and stuff like that, but I always kind of liked them. So I've been having a horse, I want to say, for the last 10 years probably. You know, I've been having a horse here, not here in my house, but I have a spot where I keep them a couple of miles from my house, and like I said, I take my kids over there all the time because that's the one I want. The tradition, coming from Mexico, you always have that rancho life,
Yeah, and because you know what, right now, because I saw a picture of, and I was like, man, I'm gonna ask him because me growing up, right, we had horses too. I grew up in a rancho here in Vegas. We had horses and everything, so I thought that was cool. And not only you, but there
Yeah,
Canelo also.
yeah. Well, Canelo has the big, expensive horses. I had the little cheap horses, but they're still nice horses.
Hey, hey, as long as you can ride them, man, it's all good, man. You know.
Yeah, it keeps me entertained. Like I said, on my free time, I like to go out there and ride horses and stuff. But
Yeah.
it's always been one of my hobbies to do when I'm not in training camp or when I'm not training.
So actually, also, when you're in training, what's the most miles you run?
The most miles I've ran training, we do usually like Saturdays. We'll do long runs. We do 8 to 10 miles on Saturdays. But from there, I like to always work off how I feel. Sometimes I may say, hey, I'm gonna go for 3 miles, but I feel good, so I end up doing 5 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Some days, hey, I'm gonna go for 5 miles, but after a couple of miles, my body feels fatigued, so I say, hey, let's cut it back a couple of miles. So I always like to go off of how my body feels. Obviously, there's times that you have to push your body that extra mile, and we know when to do that also. But the most miles I've ran, officially, if you want to say it like that, I've ran half marathons, so probably 13.1 miles. I run half marathons, which is no problem, but also too much running and boxing, obviously, doesn't do you good all the time, so we kind of have to cut back. And I'm one of the fighters that actually enjoys running. I like going out, just runs for fun, just I enjoy running all overall. So running for me is not a big deal. My trainer tried to keep me from running. They're like, hey, don't run too much,
Yeah.
let's go do other workouts like swimming, doing sprints, doing stuff like that, which I don't like doing that, but they try to keep me from running. I'll go for a 10-mile run, any day of the week without any hesitation.
Yeah. So when it comes up to leading to the fight, before a fight night, do you just relax, right? You don't train no more. You don't.
Well, the last week is all we like to call it, just the weight week. Worry about your weight, how your weight, and you're kind of working off where your weight is at. Obviously, if you have 10 pounds to lose a week before the fight, then you want to still work a little bit more. If we're there close to the weight, we kind of just doing little jogs on the treadmill, shadow boxing, jump roping, touching on the mitts. Obviously, we don't spar the last week of camp. We're just kind of just maintaining, because trust me, if you're in shape, you're gonna be in shape that last week, and if you're not, then you're not gonna get in shape in the last
Yeah.
week of a fight.
Yeah. Yeah, and also there's like the other day I was talking to somebody and they were asking me, when you went to when you weigh in, and sometimes you don't make the weight, and they give you what, like an hour to come back.
I've never had that, man, and I couldn't imagine how that feels, because I mean, when you're there at the weigh-ins, you just want to get it over with, step on the scale, flex, get off, and get your drinks on, get your vitamins on. And I couldn't imagine, man, how it's like when hey, you're a pound and a half over, you can't drink water, you can't sip on Gatorade, you can't do nothing, you gotta go lose that weight, you gotta go. I couldn't imagine how hard that is. I'm sure it's very, very hard for fighters. And that's why some fighters, I think, that's why sometimes I see people are like, oh, it's only 1 pound or 1.5 pounds. Yeah, but you don't know how much that person has lost to get to that weight. So
I think that's what people don't understand. Like they say, oh, he didn't make weight. Well, you know what I'm saying? And you only got, last time I saw somebody lost weight in a couple, well, you only have an hour.
yeah.
And he left and he came back, but they don't know what's going on behind it. You know what I mean? Because
how they had got to that weight that they got, and then they still got to lose 1 more pound. Shit, that got to be tough.
And you know what? And I was watching. I heard somebody say that back in the days when they used to fight, back in the days, maybe in the 80s, somebody didn't make weight. So what they did was they went in a room. They were in a hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for him to lose that weight, they put a lot of stuff on they completely turned the room on fire for him to drop it.
It's crazy. There's crazy stories out there with fighters that have had to lose weight, man. And it's crazy what fighters go through that last week of camp just to lose those last few pounds.
Yeah, that's what one of the things that a lot of people don't know. They don't know what a fighter has to go through and everything. They don't drink. You know what I'm saying? To be able, they kill the body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go get a charger. My phone's dying. But yeah, exactly. I mean, I've heard fighters. You know, one of the craziest stories that I've heard is Brandon Rios. I heard he would go 3-4 days without eating or anything, and just to make the weight. I'm like, man, that's crazy. I go a couple of hours without eating, and I feel like shit. Now imagine him, Brandon Rios. I heard he used to do it for days, 2-3 days without eating or consuming anything. I'm like, man. But he would also go up heavy in weight. I remember I heard a couple of times he went up about 20 pounds,
Yeah,
20 pounds up in weight. And that's why he would struggle a lot to make that weight.
yeah. Um, I you know what? Right now that you say that, I went to some of his weigh-ins with Brandon Rios. I have some videos too. I think he fought. I don't remember the guy he fought, but I have a video where he was real. Well, you could tell. I mean, his face could tell.
Hey,
He
that's
couldn't
one of those
even.
fighters that used to look like a completely
Yeah,
different person. You know, not when he wasn't in camp or when he was at the weigh-ins. Another one was Eric Morales too, man. Like there was a couple of pictures that would show the difference of how he looked when he was off camp and like the day of the weigh-ins. Man, he's looked super sucked up, and I'm like, man, they would go through literally to go through hell, you know, to make weight. And one of the craziest stories I've heard too was when Jose Luis Castillo was getting ready for that third fight with Corrales. They said that because remember he didn't make the weight.
yeah.
They said they were actually thinking about drawing blood from him so he can lose a couple of ounces, and then they said after the weigh-ins they'll put him back in there. I'm like, man, they're really literally trying to trying to kill this guy. Imagine taking out blood from a fighter so he could make the weight and then putting it back in him. I was like, yeah, man, that was those are crazy stories that I heard, but obviously they didn't go through that. They didn't do it, and I remember that's why the third fight didn't happen because he didn't make the weight.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, there's a lot of stories out there, that people just don't know behind the scenes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, like as a fighter, you see stuff and you hear stuff, and you're like, man, you really believe it, and you really know what a fighter goes through those last couple of days in order to get to that weigh-in and to make that certain amount. That's why I don't understand. Sometimes fighters too, we're kind of hard-headed, and we want to stick to a weight class, and sometimes it's just better to say, hey, it's might be a good idea just to go up. Example right now, with a Virgil Ortiz, he's having a hard time, with third cancellation of a fight, man. So you have to know, his team has to know that there's obviously something wrong, and they should just, probably make the move up in weight to 154 instead of trying to kill himself with making 147.
What did you think about the Innis fight? You saw the Innis fight?
Oh man, yeah, I saw it, man. He's sharp. Villa's no walk in the park, man. He was coming those first 4 or 5 rounds trying to land that big haymaker,
Yeah,
but Ennis is obviously on another level. Now
yeah.
obviously the big question is how will he be able to pull off something like that against the likes of Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, Ugas, and all those guys.
All
But
the
I mean,
different-
from what it looks like, he probably can do it. I'm sure he could hang up there with the top of the division, no problem. And the thing is, he might have done something bad for his own without even knowing, because now these guys are definitely not going to want to fight him. They're going to say, high risk, low reward, because as a hardcore fan, we know who Ennis is, right? But if you ask the average fan out there, if they know who that is,
I
they're
don't know.
probably going to say they don't know. So the big names are going to be like, "Nah, it's not worth it. I'm not going to, fight this guy that nobody knows and not get paid as much as a guy like a big name, like Errol Spence or a Terrence Crawford,
So what?
But that's the way the sport is. You never know. Like I said, sometimes the big fights don't get made because somebody doesn't have the same name value as the other fighters, so they don't want to risk that. They're like, hey, I'm not gonna put my name up there with a guy that nobody knows, and not
Yeah,
get paid as much. I'd rather wait for a big name and make the big money, which you can't blame a fighter for doing that either.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's crazy because, like, I see a lot of I see like you said, like if a lot of people don't know all these up and coming fighters, and they're like, well, who's this guy? Who's this? But I mean, if you know, you follow boxing, you know who it is. You know what I mean? Who's coming up?
Exactly. Well, it's another example like with Canelo. He gets criticized a lot for all the big name, well, all the names that he's fought, and because most of the fans don't know who they are, but us as hardcore fans, we all know that these guys that he's beat, they're solid guys. You know, it's not his fault that people don't know him,
Yeah,
and then it's not his fault that he's making them look like nobody. Just an example, like when he fought Bivol, most people didn't even know who he was, and they're like, "Oh, he's another, he's another bum." And then guess what? This bum could fight, and
yeah,
now people are like, "Oh yeah." But like I said, if you don't, some people think, oh, because they don't know the guy, then he's not much. But trust me,
yeah.
sometimes those guys, like we know, hardcore fans know that those guys that people don't know, they're the most dangerous fighters out there.
Do you think that Canelo, if he fights, you think he'll be able to beat him this time around?
Who's that? Bivol. I think he should stay. I think he should stay away from Bivol as much as possible. Bivol's just a pure natural basic fighter, man. He's so skilled, but with basics, like his 1-1-2s are so basics, and his little step back. He doesn't do nothing special, but that basic style is so good with him that I mean, I don't think Canelo could beat him. At either weight, at 168 or 175.
Yeah, I mean, and then I wanted to see him fight Benavides.
That would have been a solid fight. See that would have been a really really solid fight because a lot of people know who Benavides is. Obviously, people know who Canelo is. It would have been a Mexico versus Mexico fight. But I mean, we don't know what Canelo. We know Canelo is right now. I think his career is now business. He's trying to make the best business moves and get paid as much as he possibly can because we know we're probably in the last year or two of his career. But I think the longer he waits to fight Benavides, I think the more chance Benavides has to beat him.
Yeah, can he
I
get over?
think if he was any smart, I think he would have to fight Benavides now, and I think he still beat Benavides this year. If he waits a couple of years more, then I think Benavides has a even better chance
Yeah,
of beating him because Benavides is on his way up. He's getting to that peak, and Canelo, we know he's kind of on his way down already.
yeah, and then Benavides can't be sitting around waiting. You know what I mean? He has to fight other people. He got to keep active. And one of the other things is maybe Canelo will fight him after he fights Charlo.
Probably, yeah. Well, we know he has a 3-fight deal with PBC. We obviously don't know the names because we were completely wrong about the. We weren't wrong about Charlo. We were wrong about what Charlo he was
Yeah,
fighting. Obviously, yeah. But I mean, he might surprise us by September and fight. I mean, by next year and fight Benavides on Cinco de Mayo.
that'd be good.
That'd be perfect. I think we were. And people will still complain though. People will still talk shit on Canelo. People will still
Oh,
say, he's never gonna. People just never give him a fair shake. I feel like the people never give him a fair
they
shake.
have and what's her name too? That was a good fight. I don't know if you saw her. She's from out there.
Marlene Esparza, I saw it. I know I didn't see it. I'm lying. I saw a couple of tweets that the fight was a lot closer than what they had scored it. I
Yeah,
didn't see it, but I was hearing that the scorecards were getting a lot of heat of how spread apart they were, 99-91 or something like that.
yeah. So that Berlin one, that was good. I think it was a good one. It's a good fight. So I mean, other than that, man, I mean, I think the question is who she's gonna fight next.
Well, I mean, I think it's time for the rematch with Estrada. That should be the next fight. No, I mean, I don't know. I don't. I mean, like I said, I don't keep up much with the lower weight classes in women. I know Marlene and Sinisa and all those, they're big names. But I think, from my understanding, don't they have like two of the belts each or something?
Yeah, and then but Sinisa is fighting on the 28th
Oh,
of
July.
this month.
Oh, okay, yeah, on the top rank. That's probably one of the problems too. That one's with top rank and the other one's with Golden Boy,
Yeah,
right?
she's fighting here in Vegas at the Palms
Oh,
Casino.
Okay.
I'll see if I don't know. I want to go watch it. I want to go see that.
Yeah.
Be there. Yeah. What
Yeah, I'm
about you?
sure she always brings the heat too. I've seen Sinisa fight a couple of times, and I know she's a good action fighter, and she always brings good amount of people, good amount of crowd into her fights.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I don't know. You're not coming down?
Well, right now I'm just gonna stay this camp down here because I was in Vegas in March for the Benavidez fight, and for this camp, like I said, I want to stay a little bit more focused because obviously I don't want to get too comfortable just because I'll be fighting at home, and it's like a homecoming fight, so I want to keep it a little bit more concentrated and just stay all this whole camp here in Houston, and like I said, it's gonna be a good show out on August 12th. I'm sure of that.
Yeah. And we got a lot of good fights, man. We got Terrence Crawford. We
Oh,
got
that Crawford fight is up there out there the same day, right? The 29th.
yeah. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, that should be a great fight. I mean, that should just be an all over great fight for the fans and just the boxing world all around, man. That's gonna be a terrific fight.
So my other question is, if anybody wants to sponsor you, how do they get in touch with?
They could just direct message me to my Instagram account. Like I said, it's always good to have new people back you up, and obviously it's always appreciative because it helps you out with camp and expenses. Sometimes these camps get expensive. You have to stay focused.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got to eat better. You got to take your vitamins and all that stuff costs. Eating healthier costs more than eating junk food. You get a burger at McDonald's and some fries and a drink for $5, but obviously getting a salad or something healthy is going to be 15-20 bucks. So, it's always appreciative when a sponsor comes by or comes through and says, hey, how do we get to sponsor you? And they chunk you some money. It's always appreciative. And obviously, they get that bag that their patch or their logo goes on your shorts, and you're rocking their gear or you're rocking their hat, at weigh-ins. They always, they like that too. So, it's kind of, works good for both sides.
Well, let me know how I can send you one of my hats out there so you can wear it on one of your fights, man. I really appreciate it.
For sure, definitely, man, definitely. I think, well, we've talked about that before. That'll be great, man. I wear one of your shirts and your hats, obviously, in training and stuff like that. It's always good to get that promotion out there and get that sponsorship out there.
All right. Any shout outs before I let you go?
Not just to all my people from Houston and anybody. I know I've had a couple of people that have told me that they would make the fly out here to Houston. So I appreciate everybody, all my family, my kids, my wife, everybody that's always supporting me and sending me great vibes. It's always appreciative of how people support you. Sometimes people that you don't even know support you more than than people here. So that's always great. It's a great feeling and it's motivation to keep going.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I really appreciate your time, bro, man. Every time that
Nah, man, thank you. It's always a good talk with you, man. Always a good boxing talk with you, man.
Hey, thank you so much for giving me the chance and opportunity to interview you all the time. Every time I get in contact with you, you're ready to go.
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate you, man. And it only helps us fighters to get our name out there more and give us more promotion.
And, if I can interview you after the fight, man, and I wish you the best. We wish you the best, and I hope you come out with your hand raised. And
definitely, man. We'll be in touch for sure. Right after the fight, man, I'll get on live with you, even if it's a 5-10 minute interview. We'll get back on there, and God willing, everything's gonna come out perfect, man.
All right, man. I'll be rooting for you. You know that.
All right, man. Appreciate you, man. Have a good one, man. Y'all be safe.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.